Peepers, welcome. Guess who this is?
Hi.
Nope. It's Kristen Norman. She is an artist here in Key West, and I actually sell her work. It's behind me. The Dorothy piece, and it goes up, which I'm going to post some of her work underneath this interview. But this is our first High Works. What is it?
High Artworks.
High Artworks. So highartworks.com, and this is my very first interview, and the whole premise of this is that the artist gets to choose their drug of choice within reason. And yeah, we're not doing heroin or any of that stuff.
No smoking crack.
Yeah,
today.
nothing higher than marijuana, really. But Kristen's drug of choice is sweets. So I went to Key West Cakes. And the reason I went there is because I have a serious problem with what's in this box, because I used to I was a block away from it. I used to get cupcakes every day. Gained 30 pounds. Anyway, so these are amazing. If you ever come to Key West, go to Key West Cakes and get a cupcake. And they have great coffee too. And so this is your drug of choice.
Yeah, cupcakes.
Yeah, so you're down with this.
I'm down.
So I picked 4 different kinds. And she's chosen the mystery one because I could remember 3 of them, and then one of them I have no idea what it is. And because you are who you are, which is interesting, you chose the mystery one.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to find out during the interview what it is. Okay, so pick your cupcake.
This is the mystery cupcake. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and there's like love inside of them. So I'm going to go with the Oreo cookie. Even though I could eat, and the other one, I mean, I'm going to show all of them to you because they're amazing. And I'm going to have everything on my beard. I'm one of those people, like people when you go out to eat, and they're like, I just say, listen, don't bother. The end of it, I'm just going to hose down. It's all good. And that's what happens when you have a beard like this. So don't worry about it. But look at this. This is heaven. Look at that. That's like a brownie cupcake. And this is the Heath Bar one, which is the one I really wanted to get, but I didn't. I'm going to eat the Oreo one. So while we eat these, I'm going to ask you questions about your journey into becoming an artist and being an artist and living as an artist. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I've written some questions down, but this is a freewheeling kind of thing. Sterile utensils, because that's the way we roll here.
Environmentally friendly.
Not really.
Not really.
These are made out of algae, and they will...
We can eat them when we're finished.
Yes, it's good for your hair. Mm-hmm. So, I think I know where you were born, but my first question is, where were you born and kind of like raised as a kid?
Well, I had a great childhood. I was raised in South Louisiana, an hour south of New Orleans. There's lots of bare feet, and we had oyster shells for the driveway. And
oh, cool! So, like a fishing town?
Very much so. It was shrimp in town. A lot of oil riggers. Yep, worked down there and still do. And so a lot of...
What's the name of the town?
Buras, Louisiana.
Buras, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I don't know Louisiana very well.
Well, it's a delta, lots of different deltas. So New Orleans is up here, and then there's a couple, it's almost kind of like the Keys. So you've got that's connected, not by bridges, but by land.
So little fingers all over the
Yeah,
place.
exactly, little fingers.
With like bayous.
Yep, exactly.
I met some Gullah people in South Carolina. Do they have that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Grouping of people. Like, are you familiar with the Gullahs? Mm-mm. They actually have their own language. They're African American. Mm-hmm. They weave baskets that would just blow your mind out of grass, like the high, tall seagrass. Amazing. Anyway.
South Louisiana has their own language.
Really? I love that stuff.
They have their. I do too.
It's culture, you know.
There's a combination. There's a heavy Cajun and also a Creole culture,
which is kind of French by nature.
Both have French influences. Cajun more so than Creole.
What's the difference?
Well, Cajun, the history between Cajun, which is where on my father's side there is some a little bit of Cajun with the last name Thibodeau, but they came from Quebec. They were fur traders.
Cool.
And they went down to Louisiana and settled down there.
No, is your dad first generation, second generation?
My dad's, my great grandparents are from New Orleans. Yeah, on my New Orleans side's very heavy with my dad's side of the family.
Okay, so did that affect your creativity? Like, does it still create? Like, does it bleed into your artwork now?
A little bit, and I think that's why I'm drawn to living in Key West as well. I really love South Louisiana, and I had a great childhood, and it has influenced me, definitely. The whole grit of that culture definitely influences my art.
It is grit. It's a good word. It's grit in a great way.
Yeah.
You know, they're real.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real people down there.
That's how I feel about here too. I mean, so many people that I know here, they're just real. There's no bullshit.
No.
You kind of lose your filter after a while. So that was my first question, because I thought you were from New Orleans, but you have an influence of that area. And I have to say, the more I first met you, and you showed me your work, it was interesting because you're like an onion. You have like these so many layers inside of you that I'm still learning about you. And the whole point of this idea is to get to know not just the artists that I represent to another level, but also artists in Key West and artists that come through. I know the answer to this, but not everyone else does. So what artist inspires you the most?
The artist, well, now there's a couple, but
really? Good.
The artist that got me started in the medium that I use is Banksy.
Yeah.
I'm a big Shepard Fairey fan, huge Shepard Fairey fan.
Who's that?
He is known for his Obey giant image. He does. God, he's everywhere. You may have seen the image of. He's an activist also.
Oh, good.
So there's an image of like a gun with a rose coming out of it, which is a common image, but the way he does it, it's very like the communist art, that propaganda style. That's his style.
We need that.
Yeah,
now.
Yeah. Only
we are there.
We are there. And Shepard Fairey, I'll send you a link. You would really like his stuff.
Because I feel like it's definitely bleeding into my work, politics. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Simple question, but hard to answer really for an artist. What's your favorite color?
I go back and forth. Right now, I'm black.
Really?
Yeah, I love black.
It's cool. Black is all color, really.
Yeah.
And it sets off everything you put next to it.
Yep.
So it actually really is an important color in the spectrum. It's a cool answer. I would say probably vermilion for me.
Yeah, that's a great color.
I love that bright, reddy orange color, and I try to use it. But and your favorite medium? I try to know the answer too.
My favorite medium, I make stencils and spray paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so did you? Because I tell people this.
I hope it's right.
Does it? Well, I guess it does matter. Sometimes I just go for it, you know. I used to be a waiter, and I would make up stuff. Like, I didn't know. This is way back in the day. I was the worst waiter on planet Earth, and I didn't know what like quinoa was. So people would ask, "Well, what is quinoa?" I would be like, "It's an ancient Asian rice or citrusy."
It's close.
It's an Aiken grade,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have any citrus involved at all.
No.
But I would just make stuff up. So when I talk about my artist, well, you are my artist, the artist that I represent, I always say that you're definitely influenced by Banksy. And where was I going with that question? Do you remember?
No, it's your question. I'm not really sure, but you were headed somewhere. We got distracted by Kate.
I can't help it. Well, we were talking about mediums too, and I have to show you. She did this of me. How cool is that? If you look really close, the beard is pink, which I love. And she does portraits of people, and they're what, $300 for something like this. So you just send her a JPEG to.
Yeah, a couple, just so I can make sure it's right.
But where would they send a JPEG? How would they get a hold of you, or they just call? Or you can just call me, whatever.
Well, yeah, I have my Facebook page.
Kristen Norman.
Yep, and Instagram, which is also K. I have to look at my Instagram. Oh my god, I got a phone call coming in. My Instagram is K. M as in Mary. Norman is IS. How complicated is that? Go with my Facebook page and you can find me there. Kristen.
Or
Norman.
just get a hold of me. I'll get a hold of her. Either way, doesn't matter. Anyway, I've been a huge fan of your work, and so this was the question. So when you first came in, you did some of your work on some old canvases that you had found, really, you know, and I was really drawn to your work, but I suggested you use this. It's not aqua board, but it's like
gesso board.
Gesso board from Ampersand, and you can see.
That's Dorothy.
The Dorothy piece that was one of the first ones I saw.
Yeah.
And I was like, want this, you know. So I think it changed your work.
It did. It changed the whole game. That suggestion, hey, why don't you try it on this? And I was like, okay, tried it, and I was like, oh.
She came back 2 weeks later with all this work. I was like, girl, you got yourself a gallery. And people love it and it sells. So, I mean, you're really, you went from kind of dabbling, I think.
Yeah,
Tell me if I'm ever wrong, like during this process, to you're like full tilt on into a creative journey.
Definitely.
That I love. I mean, this is part of that onion thing I'm talking about, because you are unfolding as an intense artist here in Key West. And I kind of saw it from almost the beginning.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you definitely saw it from almost the beginning. I just kind of walked in here because I liked the art I saw in the window, and that was it.
Now the girl can't stop.
I really can't. I paint all the time. Yeah. My God.
Which is great. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, what better thing to do, really? You know, I love art. I love painting. Okay, so. Favorite place to paint to date? Like, where have you painted thus far that you had like the most incredible experience?
I've painted on 2 cents here in Key West.
I saw it.
It had been boarded up from Irma for months, and I walk by these plywood pieces every single day. It's still up, actually, and I talked to the owners and asked them if I could paint, and they said yes. And it's been up there for months. I painted. There's a big mural in the middle, and then my favorite is the guy leaning out smoking a cigarette because the building looks in rough condition.
Irma destroyed it.
Yeah.
2 Cents was a great restaurant bar that a lot of locals hung out at. Super happy hour. You'd go there for happy hour and they would have bacon, free bacon. Anyone that gives me free bacon is cool in my book.
And I just want to say that they have Mary Ellen's now, which is right next door, and they have happy hour and all that great stuff
Do they
too.
own that?
Yeah, the same owners.
I love that bar. Did not know that. And there's a grilled cheese station window right outside that makes like 12 cheese portobello mushroom grilled cheese sandwiches with like tomato bisque dipping sauce. You start to cry. It's so good.
Yeah, the
It's like
owners
this.
are very nice, and they're like, yep, they're like, paint whatever you want on the plywood, and I did, and that was the first time I had been able to express myself outside to that level. I have painted in other spots that I'm not going to say about on the internet.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. But those are my favorite places.
Really?
Yeah.
Undercover Brother?
Undercover. I love if I could get away with it outside.
That's your little, yeah, I'm going to stick it in the bag. Will you call me sometime? And I'd love to do it with you. I would
Really?
love that. Love it. I'm in.
All right.
For a penny or a pound, I'm in.
No,
okay?
well, because it helps to have extra hands.
I'm in.
And, yeah.
Just let me know.
All right.
Okay, cool. Because that was one of the things I did want to say is I want to see your work huge.
Because I have that piece under a bridge somewhere.
Really?
And he looks amazing.
That's what I see your work as being like a whole side of a building. And I know a lot of artists all like through, Facebook is it's such an unbelievable tool. Because I've met so many artists, I've met them, but we communicated through Facebook and Instagram, and I get to see their work. And some of them do murals on the whole side of a building in Germany or whatever. And in fact, Marlene Koenig, who's a Key West artist,
She's got really great. I love.
She was just in Germany,
yeah.
and she did some mural stuff over there.
She's got some really cool stuff.
I think it was Renegade. I think it was Renegade Murals in Berlin or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so good. I'm glad I asked that, and I'm excited about doing that. And there's a wall here in town by the scooter place, right on Truman.
They painted. There was some artists that had some stuff there, but I think they painted over it.
I drove by it the other day, just the other day, and I'm like, Kristen should have a huge mural there. She just ask them. I'm sure
I should.
They would be like, yeah, I'll help you. I'd love to do it. Okay, let's see. Do you have a favorite painting by another artist?
Oh God,
I know.
It's hard to narrow that down.
I know.
There's so many.
Like the first one.
There's actually, and I'm not a huge fan of Picasso typically, but there's it's actually a sketch drawing. I saw it when I was in Barcelona, and it's of a homeless man. And I just loved it. And he's blue. He's like, it's just a sketch, but he's like this really cool blue. Is it
Cubism or
no?
It was before he got into that.
Yeah, it was before he got into Cubism.
That was the most interesting part of it. I got to go see his, I don't know if they call it a retrospective or whatever, but it was at the National Gallery in D.C. and they had his early works all the way up till, he stopped. And his early works were really realistic.
Yeah.
And he went through some suffering,
He did.
Guess what? We suffer for this. We also love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't come without a cost. So that's interesting. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to go Banksy right away. Like one of his pieces or something that hit you. You clearly have hit, like he is channeling your drive, I think.
Well, I'm a fan of the underdog.
Yeah, okay. That's clear.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the underdog, and I love the, and I think that's why I like that Picasso piece. I love it so much because it's just a really great piece of this homeless guy, and those kinds of pieces speak to me.
They're not pretty. It's not pretty.
I mean, I've been told that my art can be creepy, but.
I'm going there.
Yeah.
You've been there. You got there way before me, and now I'm getting into creepy. And guess what? I think that is the arc of an artist. And for me, everything I learned very slow, and I started by making pretty paintings with pretty compositions, and then kind of moving towards different subject matters, and now I'm doing surrealism. And I'm at the point now where I absolutely do not care, unless it's a commission, I don't really care if anyone likes it at all.
I have a good friend that he's also a big reason he helped me get into art. He was basically like, just try it, And I would, like, when I first started, I would send him pictures and be like, what do you think? Should I do it like this? And he would always just sort of say to me, like, well, do you like it? You know, this is for you. This is not for anybody else.
It's your journey.
This is yours. Yeah. And that I've carried that advice through, like, all the artwork that I do. I'm like, well, what works for me?
Well, that's it's true. It's your truth.
Yeah.
So, cool. Good answer. Okay. Next question is, if you could ask them, your favorite artist, a question, what would it be? So you picked Picasso.
Well, I picked that piece. I'm not...
Okay,
Picasso's not... He kind of had some womanizing sort of issues going on there. So he's not...
He did.
He did. He's not my, like, personality-wise. I don't think we would...
You wouldn't hang.
No.
You wouldn't, like, if you could go to dinner with any artist in the world, it wouldn't be...
Banksy, for sure.
For sure?
Definitely.
You'd have to sign that contract saying, you know, I don't know what
And
you look like.
I think Banksy's a woman. How about that?
Really?
Yeah.
Bam!
Yeah. How about
I never
that?
thought of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Do
Yeah.
you think anyone will ever figure out who it is?
Oh, I'm sure. People do know.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's a tough thing to hide, especially
Yeah.
at this level. I mean, people are like stealing his art.
Yeah.
That isn't easy to steal.
No.
Like, you know, you have to like dismantle,
Yeah.
which is kind of freaky and amazing all in one, you know. So if it was Banksy, would you have any like a question? Like, if you were allowed to ask a question during your dinner with her, what would it be?
Oh my God. If I had one question, like, is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
Is it all worth it? Like, all of it?
I don't know that they would even be able to answer that.
I don't know either. That's why
No.
I'd ask.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't either. Because Banksy's is in this position where they're an underdog and they do this street art and their art has a real, valid, important message and have art in important places but also but then they have people like stealing it and like, this whole making money off of it and but they've done a very good job of keeping their identity under wraps. But I mean, I guess I just want to know what is their life like? Like what do you do for fun too? What is there's a lot of questions.
I like the question that you thought of, though.
Yeah.
I mean, is it worth it? I mean, you could ask every artist that, because it's not an easy journey in any way, and it's not an easy way to live financially. It's not. It's emotional. It's intense, but it's also incredibly gratifying, fulfilling, and to me, painting is more important than anything. I mean, I'm by myself though. Don't tell Rowan I said that. It's Vidal.
That's a dog.
But I mean, if I ever had a mate, like my artwork always comes first, always will. And I think that's why I'm single, is because I don't think anyone could ever get that. Now, you're married and you have a child, so...
No, I don't. Well, my dog, you can consider my dog.
You don't have a dog?
No, I don't have
Why
a
did I
kid.
think that?
I have a niece that I'm always posting pictures of.
That's probably...
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No children.
She has no children.
No kids.
Neither do I.
Yeah. I have a
I'm
dog.
sure of it.
Yeah. But I am married. I love my husband, and
I know you do. You can see it.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm one of these people where I'm just like, I'm doing something.
You're moving. You have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
She's not just an artist. What is the other?
I'm finishing my master's degree in conflict resolution and negotiation, and I'm a mediator for the certified in Florida.
I can't. I'm tired just thinking about it. And she cranks out artwork that is amazing. So, okay. So, a favorite painting of your own work. So if you could pick out a painting right now that you've created that I have a favorite right now.
Mm-hmm.
In a week or two,
Yeah.
it will not be my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But right now it is. Do you have one of those going on?
The one I just did. I love that piece.
Which one?
With the lady that's looking up with the praying hands and like the weird guys in the background and the butterflies and the purple around her.
Yeah.
That one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do I have a JPEG of that?
No, but I'll send it to you.
Cool, because I'll post that so you guys can see it. Mine is of the pig.
I love that. Yeah, that piece.
I did a painting of a politician with a flag pin upside down with a thing of money that he's kind of chasing. It's called Follow the Money. And I actually put it in the window because I've been watching the Senate hearings and I just am so over it. But I'm getting ahead of myself because we are going to talk about that. But that's my favorite painting today.
Yeah,
You know.
because last time it was that, like,
Yeah,
I love the
little
boy.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah, he's awesome. People
Yeah.
comment on him all the time.
They should buy him.
I'm trying, girl. It's summer. In Key West, summer is slow. Okay. All right. Where do you see your work heading?
Yeah.
As far as changing, growing into something else? Before you answer,
Yeah.
having the 25 more years of experience of where I see my artwork going,
Yeah.
I never had any idea.
Yeah.
I mean, I was an Irish landscape painter, then I was a dog portrait artist, and then
Right.
I started painting people, the naked men, and then what am I doing now? Surrealism. So I mean, I really do believe there is an arc of an artist, and
Yeah.
I think that what takes you a lot of work to say something in the beginning, hopefully if you live long enough, that a brushstroke says the same thing. But it's confidence, and you don't have the confidence here. You have to go all the way over to here to actually get that kind of confidence where just a quick brushstroke says the whole thing. And so you're going at an incredibly fast pace compared to my own experience. Probably because you're really smart. I just, off topic, just got hearing aids from, were gifted to me. And the guy asked me during the hearing thing if I had what head injury I had. It's the second time someone asked me, a doctor has asked me that. And I've never had a head injury I mean, I got a concussion. I guess that's
a head injury.
Must have been a bad one.
Affected your hearing, yeah.
For sure. I
Yeah.
can't hear a damn thing, even with these on. I got to get them checked. So, what? You didn't answer the question.
Okay, no.
Because I'm answering it.
Well,
I'll
and you
leave.
made a great point because, to be honest,
You don't know.
you really don't know where it's headed, and it really is. I'm inspired by different things all the time, and just sort of follow that inspiration, and I'm free with experimenting and seeing, trying different techniques. Like I was just messing around trying with planets. It's not painting planets in the universe, and which actually now I'm working on another piece that's inspired by that, but it's different. But I don't know. I mean, I'd love to be on, do big murals and things like that, but
I totally see that happening for you.
what is,
Because your work should be huge. Like, I see it in a really big way. And I think
Well, I'm glad you've offered to help because
I'm in.
that is kind of required.
Well, I mean, I have a little mural experience.
Yeah.
And I would be into it because I'd love to see it happen. So, yeah, I mean, it's a tough question. I don't know that I could answer it. But what you did say is interesting because it took me years to figure that out, too, is trusting in your vision. Mm-hmm. And I used to throw ideas. I don't know if this is your process. I'm actually jumping into a question, but my process is it bubbles up. So I get an idea in my head, and then it starts to form, and grow, and then I have to create it. So that changes for me. But anyway, is that
that's exactly what. Like I don't. know where the inspiration really will strike, but I'll
it's
get
a
in.
spark.
Yeah, something. I'll see an image in my mind, and
It forms.
it forms, and it never really quite looks the same when I put it
Yeah.
on the canvas. But as that friend I was talking about told me, you have to be true to the piece. Be true to the piece as it unfolds. And I remember that as it's going, because otherwise I'm like, well, it doesn't look exactly how I thought it was going to look, so this isn't going to work.
No,
But
it does work.
Yeah.
You just have to just
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, you have to go with it.
So many ideas of my earlier days I threw out of my head because I thought they were just too out there or didn't work, and I didn't trust my voice.
Yeah.
And I think that you're already there. Like, you trust your
I
voice.
go out there.
You got your voice. You trust your ideas. Things that bubble up are just done.
Well,
So
yeah.
you don't question it. And that, to be honest, just so you know, that doesn't come for most people as quickly as it has for you, which is awesome. Okay. How does a painting start for you process, which is what we just talked about? So that you and I are pretty similar in
Yeah.
that respect. And maybe all artists are, but I don't think so. I think many artists would answer that question totally different on
Yeah.
where their creative ideas come from. What part of you ends up in your work?
That's
All
all
of
of
it.
it. I'm in all of my artwork. I put all of me in it. Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, I think in my own work, it is commission work. It's hard to put yourself in commission work.
I will say that I did that one commission piece for somebody, and I struggled with getting that piece right. But part of that struggle was really great for me. Like at one point I was like, this is not gonna work at all. This is not gonna work at all.
Oh, because it's not
Yeah.
for you.
No.
You know, so you're kind of taken out of this creative process that is actually your creative process, and so commission work and working for commissions is necessary for an artist to make money, but it also is really hard because it's not emotionally inside of you at all. You're being hired to paint something that you have no connection to. So for me, I always try to find something within that composition that I find interesting.
And I like to leave, I'm really into little details, so I like to leave just a small little nod, so to speak.
A little note.
A little note for myself.
I do too.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. What brought you to Key West? You're reading the questions. You're not allowed to look over here.
What brought me to, I'm preparing. What brought me to Key West?
She's multitasking. See, I can't do that either.
Well, there's the real story, and then there's the story I give people who don't need to hear the real story. But the real story is I showed up to Key West because I had hit a rough patch in life. Mm-hmm. And I showed up to my brother's 1-bedroom apartment, who at the time had a girlfriend living there. I showed up with my U-Haul. I kicked her out, put all my stuff in there, and lived and waited tables and basically just collected myself, we shall say. For about 2 years, I went through a rough patch, and then I came out of it.
You certainly did.
I came out of it.
Yes, you did. With gold stars.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
One thing I gotta say about this island, when you get here, it either and I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the island. And I know this sounds weird and all that.
Hotel California.
Yeah. It either consumes you and spits you out, or it saves you. And it saved me. It saved me too. Mm-hmm. I came here with some issues. Let's say.
I think most people do. They come here with some issues. That's the end of the road. It's isolated. Nobody's gonna see what I'm doing.
It's the island of misfit toys.
Yeah.
I had an artist friend say it's where our people, little left to center, wash up on the rocks.
But we love it, and then we
Yes. The good part of that is there's so many interesting people. Nobody cares what you do as long as it's not hurting anyone else.
Yeah.
You know, you're allowed to be anyone you want. You can reinvent yourself here.
Yeah.
You can get your shit together here, or you can drink yourself into oblivion and do drugs all the time. I mean, all of it is here. It's up to you. And it's just, it's 2 miles by 4 miles, so not a lot of room. And so you got people watching you, good and bad.
Yeah.
Good people that are going to help you, bad people that are going to drag you down.
Yeah.
And it's that road, you know, you got to pick it. So actually coming here really was a great thing for you.
It was a moment of grace, and it was not pretty. It did not look like a moment of grace. It looked like a hot mess rolling up on my brother, like just
Throwing his girlfriend
out.
Get out!
Oh my God! No, it was not.
Was she trouble? He probably is grateful. Did he marry her?
No. I did him a favor because the woman that he's with now, who is an angel,
Met her.
she's the sweetest thing ever. He ended up marrying her because I kicked the other one out.
He owes you a cookie.
He does. He owes me a bunch of cupcakes.
Yes, he does. I will give him the address. Whitehead Street, but it's White Street, actually. Yeah. No, this is White. I live on White. I'm not live here. The gallery is on Whitehead. This place is on White Street. What's the address? Well, it's on White Street next to Dion's Fried Chicken.
Chicken fried chicken.
Which I was hoping you would say. I love fried chicken. Dion's Fried Chicken is the best chicken in the world. But anyway, okay. When was your most creative time period to date, and why?
My most creative time period, I feel like, was when I first got started making stencils and experimenting with butterflies. Because I figured out how to get the butterflies to look like 3D.
Three-dimensional.
Yeah. And, but it just kind of all exploded around that time of just
I think I've seen it happen.
Yeah. I feel like I'm
you're
still in it.
You're in it. You're really in it. And just so you know, and it may not happen with you, it's, for me, it's a woo. So like I have this intense creative explosion, and then I just slow down, and then it picks up again.
I kind of slowed down a little bit because my husband and I just bought a house. So
in
there
Big
was,
Pine.
in Big Pine. So, and now I have this great outdoor space where I can do as much art as I want. I've like painted inside my house. I've painted on the outside of the house, and my husband suggested I paint a mural on the inside of the house.
You should.
Oh, I'm gonna. I have this great outdoor space, and we have a spare room where I have all my stuff. But there was a time period where, like a month or so, where I wasn't really doing much because
you were fixing the house up.
Yeah,
That takes up a lot.
It takes a lot. So, but
congratulations on that.
Thank
too,
you.
Because you actually have a lawn. He likes to cut grass.
Yeah, we have a yard.
I know.
It's amazing.
Which, if you don't know that, if you've ever been down here, having grass is really.
It's a big deal.
You're moving on up.
Yeah.
Do you have any key deer in your yard?
All over the place.
It's insane. They're the size of dogs, and they're super friendly. Like, they'll come right up and eat an apple out of your hand.
They do.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, I definitely think that.
I'm in it.
You're
Yeah.
And it's only going to go, like, that's in my mind anyway. Do you have a strange story or interesting story about your artwork as it pertains to people reacting to your work?
Well, people think my art is creepy.
Did somebody ever say that?
Yes. I've had people say, "Oh man, your art is creepy." What piece was it? I have a piece with a little girl smoking a cigarette. not that. I have 2 pieces with a little girl smoking a cigarette, but I did like a kind of like the same size of the boy. I did a stencil. I'm like, I even looked at her and was like, it's kind of creepy. And so I posted on Facebook, like, should I put this on a canvas? And then I had a dear friend of mine private message me, and she goes, it really is creepy.
It's dark.
It's very dark. And you should probably not put it on a canvas. So what I did was I put it on my, where I keep my spray paint cans. I did a whole big mural where I keep all my spray paint and art supplies outside. So she's outside smoking. And there's like these weird shadows of butterflies, and it's black. It's all black and like sharp, bright neon colors all around her.
Do you know where that came from? Like in
Where
your head? Like,
the girl smoking?
Yeah.
I love the idea of, because I think children are so wise.
Yeah, I do too.
So wise, and like the idea of
I don't treat kids.
a skeptical child, which I think was kind of like, I can identify with that. And so the idea of putting a cigarette in a child's hand is like, well, that's me. Like, that's, if you would have put a cigarette in my hand at 5, I'd have been like, this is what I needed.
Now let's talk.
Now let's have a real conversation.
Talk to me like I'm 25, not 5.
Because you people are not listening to me. Yeah.
I always treat children like I would treat you.
Yeah.
I don't do the baby talk.
Oh.
I hate it. I hate the whole timeout thing. Like, if they do something bad, I'm like, yo! You know? Like, I call them out on it. I'm like, I don't care if you're 5.
They're smart. Like, I watch my niece play her parents all the time. I'm like, she's playing. I said to my brother, my sister-in-law was, trying her best, because they are actually very good. They're like, they'll have a conversation with her, but I could tell that the conversation, like...
She's winning.
She was winning. She's 2. And I was like, yeah, she's playing her. Playing her.
I've spent some time in Ireland, because I have relatives there, and children there are treated, like, in the family unit, they have a say. Like, they also go to the pub, and there's fiddle players and storytellers, and it's not, they're not treated like, oh, you're 5.
Yeah.
They have say, and people listen. And I think here in America, that whole, time out, that shit doesn't fly. Like, I have a serious fear, respect for my parents. Granted, I was never hit, ever. I was the youngest of 10, and I was a pretty good kid, but I also knew that there was a real fear. Like, my dad with the belt, I saw it.
Yeah. Not
often, but I did see it, and that was like a benefit of being younger, is that you're like, all right, that shit's real. So I'm not going there.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this is a good one, because we are both in this right now. How does politics affect your work?
Well, yeah, it definitely... It's not definitely politics, but more of our reaction to the political environment is what inspires my work. The protests that, in reaction to politics, inspire my work. I think that's why I'm attracted to things like poverty. I'm attracted to... that's why I have, like, the piece I just did. There is an image of a woman praying in the middle of a protest, and there's some angry images around her. And I've done a couple of pieces with women protesting and the butterflies around them. And I do the butterflies to signify that going beyond politics, going beyond, this is where that conflict resolution comes in for me too. And the butterflies represent the divinity that, even though there's all of this separation happening in our world, especially in this country right now, there is an overall connection. There is that divinity that surrounds us, even in our worst moments, especially in our worst moments.
Which we're in.
We're in a very conflicted, difficult time, and I mean, Like I had the piece I gave you with Macaulay Culkin
Yeah.
with the red, white, and blue, and he's going. Yeah.
It takes courage. I've been watching, like I said, I've been watching the whatchamacallit, the news.
The news.
And I've seen people, protesters, that, they got off the couch. They dressed like The Handmaid's Tale. They got a group together. They went to the courthouse, and there are people doing this stuff. And I was affected by watching these people in the courtroom screaming out every day while this is all going on. And although it's kind of irritating because it's breaking up the dialogue, that's the point of it. This dialogue shouldn't even be happening right now. It's being pushed, and that affects me and what I paint personally.
Yeah.
So I think we both are affected politically in our work.
Yeah, I pay attention.
You definitely do, and your work shows it. What would you like people to remember you about your artwork?
To remember about my artwork.
Well, your car's here.
Somebody is honking. What I would like people to remember about my artwork is, this kind of goes along with your last question, is to, to find the reality that's there, and like to find a connection, and I don't know if there's any one specific thing that I would like people to remember about my art. I just really want them to appreciate it. And if it means something special to them, it's
a bonus.
That's a bonus, yeah.
That's the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. I do it for me.
Yeah.
It saves me really from really destructive stuff in my own life.
Yeah, me too.
And sometimes, like I said earlier, I think you're already there, and it took me forever to get there. But I don't really care what people want or like. I'm doing it. I'm painting it. If you get it, great. If you don't get it, that's fine too. But I think that's art.
Yeah.
We're driven to do it. And it's funny how it gets like when we're dead and gone, it gets broken down and created. Sometimes it gets created into this huge thing. Sometimes nobody ever sees it.
Yeah.
And I often wonder, like Picasso, what would he think about?
Oh, he'd love it. He was a jerk.
He was.
He would be like, "Of course, I have all of this."
He was an egomaniac.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? I mean, as far as ego and artists.
That's why I think I have a hard time answering this question, because I don't even think about my art in that way. I don't think about people actually remembering it.
They will.
Well, as far as ego and artists, I think Key West, I don't know that many artists in the community, but I don't know too many artists with big egos.
They're there.
They're there.
I don't say it in a bad. Well, that I do. I mean, there's bad ego, and then there's just ego.
Yeah.
And I think that artists in general, we create because we want people to see it.
Yeah.
Whether it's just a pretty landscape or it's a political piece, we want people to see it, and in a way, that's ego. So I don't think that's a bad thing. We're expressing ourselves and we want to show it. And then there's ego, like, what do you think of this? You know what I mean?
Right.
That to me is a turn off.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions? Is there anything you'd like to talk about?
No. I've really enjoyed this.
Good.
Yeah, this was fun.
Good.
Yeah.
I want this to be about just getting to know my people.
I love doing art, making art, doing more art.
I know.
Yeah.
And me too. And we're living down here we're very lucky, but we're also you have to work like 3 things to keep it going. Am I wrong?
No.
So we don't get to see each other.
Yeah.
It's hard to like get an artist group together and say, all right, let's all meet up and hang out and talk, and we don't get to do that. So the whole point of this is to get, not just for you guys, but for me, to just get to talk to you and see what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you were my first interview.
Yay!
So thank you.
Thanks.
Give me a big old hug. All right. I'm going to post some of her JPEGs of her work behind me, and that piece you're going to send me.
Yeah.
Under this interview. Next week, we have Fran Decker, who owns a gallery on Duval Street, who's also an incredible artist. And her drug of choice was red wine. So
it will be different from cupcakes and milk.
Everyone's going to be different.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to try and participate with them. But like I said, it's not going to go further than marijuana. I will not participate in that.
No smoking crack.
No, not down with that. So, yeah, thank you, sweetie. I appreciate you being a part of this, and I'm honored that I get to hang your work.
Yeah, thank you.
Sell your work and show your work to other people.
Yay.
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
All right, thanks everybody. I'll see you next week. All right, bye.